I'm just gonna start this video off by saying that this is the plugin that I've been waiting for. What's up everybody, David here, and today we're checking out the brand new Neural DSP Nolly Archetype suite. Let's get straight to the demo. Alright, now let's jump into the DAW so we can take a little more in-depth look at the plugin. Alright, so this is the session that I used for the demo. Let's check out what that sounds like one more time. Take a second to appreciate that bass tone. That was actually Tone Forge Hellraiser. I felt like using that for a minute, and it sounds dope. But anyways, back to the guitar tone. So let me go ahead and center this. We're going to solo this. This is the main tone that I used for this demo. This one is a tone that I made in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's called Sick Nasty Rhythm. Stupid name, I know. And this is what it sounds like. So that's a very bright, crunchy, bitey type of tone. Again, very easy to make, super quick, about 5 minutes, and I think it sounds dope. So the, of course, interface for Nolly Archetype is pretty much exactly what you would expect from a Neural DSP plugin. But of course, let's poke around in case you haven't worked with this plugin before or seen any Neural DSP stuff. You have your amp front and center. There's 4 different amps. This one is a clean amp. I honestly don't know what it is, so I'm not sure. They haven't even said what they are. People have suspicions, but they haven't come out and say what amp they modeled. This one is more of a British kind of crunchy type of amp. This one is, I'm guessing, some type of 5150. And then people say this is the Victory V30. I guess Nolly owns one of those, so it looks like it to me. So it seems accurate to say that that is the amp. But basically, clean, crunch, rhythm, and lead. You have a matched cabinet for each amp, and if you hit this link right here, it'll keep each amp with its matched cabinet, or you can uncheck this and use any head with any cabinet, which is a really cool, versatile feature. Of course, at the top, you have your pedals, compressor, overdrive 1, delay before the distortion, and then overdrive 2. You have your amp, of course, you have your EQ, and each EQ has its own GUI for whichever amp you're on, which is a pretty cool detail. Then you have your cabinet. Of course, you can move the mics around as you see fit, like any other Neural DSP product. You can blend them together, you move their positions, move them back, move them forward, anything you want. And then, of course, you have your time-based effects at the end, which is delay, which is a pretty full-featured delay, and a reverb. So one thing I want to show you, let me go back to my preset, is how much of a difference these cabs make on the tone. Now, I'm sure you know how much of a deal the cabinet is to a guitar tone, but it's really nice to see that there's now 4 different options that will drastically change the sonic quality of your tone. I really like that that's included, and it gives you just a lot of possibilities. So let's check out the overdrive and how that affected the tone. You can see it's pretty much left alone, except for the tone is backed off a little bit, so I didn't want it to get too bright. So it just saturated the tone a little bit more, tightened up the bottom end, and just, to me, smoothened it out a bit. It almost had a type of compression effect to it, which I really liked. This Overdrive 2 is also fantastic. It's more of a full range drive, so it has the treble and the bass control separate. And it seems to be more mid-focused, which is really nice, but I really like this for like the low gain and mid-gain type stuff, especially on the clean amp and the crunch amp. But let's try it on this rhythm amp. Really nice overdrive. I found that this one can make things quite noisy, so make sure you have your noise gate dialed in there. Of course, you can move mics around as always. Apparently, Nolly took all of these impulses himself at his own house with his own cabinets. He did a fantastic job here. And just this alone, being able to move around the mics adds so much versatility. I know that's in every neural DSP plugin, but I just love that you can do that so much. And you can actually alter the amp controls. I did not know that. So you can alter the amp while on the cabinet screen. That's cool. You can even turn it off. Cool. Did not know that. So one thing I want to show you is how you can use the low gain and the crunch amp to kind of get some low distorted, even full distorted type tones. Let's start with the clean amp here. See what I mean? You can really kind of dip into the low gain crunchy type tones with just this overdrive in itself. Now let's switch to the crunch amp. Now let's throw in the pedal. And as you just heard, you can easily bring this crunch amp into full saturation and it sounds incredible. Now, something that's really cool about all these amps and something to keep in mind is that the master volume does have a massive effect on the amp tone. Just listen to this. So it seems like towards the left you have a very bitey, almost like, I want to say almost like a single coil type sound sometimes, with this amp especially. And then once you start to drive it more, it starts to really saturate and just really get really spongy, and the mid-range starts to come into focus a lot more. And that's just something to keep in mind. That can wildly change the type of tone that you're getting, and you can use that to your advantage to hone in whatever tone you want. So cool detail, really nice thing to see here, and something to definitely keep in mind when you're building your tones. So let's jump over to the clean tone. This is the preset that I used. It's a Forester preset actually, and it's called Clean Mid Ambience. It's using the clean amp, and it's a fairly clean tone with a bit of breakup, and of course you have some reverb and delay. I believe there's some compression on this too. It's on the snappy side, so it really lets the pick attack through. Let's turn that off and actually check out the difference. So you see how that drastically changes once I go over to smooth. It just sounds smoother. Who would have thought? But this compressor is fantastic. This tone is a really good starting point. That's why I pretty much didn't even touch it. I just liked how it sounded. And that is with very minimal EQ. So I did add this myself just to kind of tame the top end a little bit more. This EQ is incredibly useful, and I tend to be pretty light-handed with it because you can go pretty far. Man, I just love this overdrive right here. The clean tones here are fantastic. I know that's like borderline crunch tone right now, but I love the versatility with that clean amp and that overdrive pedal. So now let's check out the lead. This is another preset called Liquid Shred, which just gives me a crazy like Dream Theater, John Petrucci type of vibe. This tone is fantastic. I did not touch a thing. It's got a compressor, the second overdrive. We are using the cabinet from the rhythm amp, and we're using the lead head. Now let's take a look at what that compressor and the overdrive did to the tone. Wow, big difference. Now let's check out that delay and reverb. So we're just using delay here. So delay, like I said, very full featured. You can sync it with a project. You can turn ping pong on and off. You have a mod control and then standard delay features, low cut, high cut, the amount of feedback, the mix. You can do a lot with this delay, and I found it incredibly easy to get what I'm looking for. So let's also try drowning this in reverb, because reverb's cool, right? And of course that reverb just goes on for days, so you can get those crazy ambient tones, which of course is one of those things that I would come to expect from Nolly. Let's actually try that on the clean tone. I haven't done that yet. All right, just wanted to brighten up that tone a little bit. And of course, it sounds dope. All right, now you've seen everything, and this comes a time where I share my thoughts on the plugin. And I'm going to keep this pretty short because I don't really have much to say other than it is absolutely fantastic. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is the amp plugin that I have been waiting for. I tried the NTS, I tried the Nameless Suite, and they were fantastic, but they just kind of weren't what I was looking for, and I was waiting for something a little more versatile. Not that those aren't versatile, but something maybe more amps versatile. And then they announced the Nolly suite and I got exactly what I wanted. Not only are there 4 amps and 4 cabs to choose from, there are 2 different overdrives like you saw, 2 different delays, a reverb, a compressor. This is like everything I want in a guitar tone in one single suite. It's amazing. And not to mention all the customization as far as the mic placement and the different mics and the blending. Like, this is just guitar nerd's dream inside of this plugin. I've been using THU, which is really cool, and it's been doing what I want it to do, especially when I want to just jump on the computer and jam. It does what I need it to, but I've been wanting something to take that next step and take my tones to the next level, and I've been eyeing Neural DSP, and then this came out, and it's really exactly what I wanted. All of the amps sound incredible. They can get very smooth and saturated tones to just very crunchy and bitey tones as well. And then on top of that, everything is very dynamic when playing through it. When actually just running the standalone program and playing through it, everything responds so well to the dynamics of your playing. You can have the crunchy amp and get clean tones out of it based on how light you're playing and easily transfer into crunch. Like, it just responds and feels really, really good. That's an area where I was kind of iffy on THU. It sounded cool, but I didn't feel stoked playing through it. And when I play through the Nolly Archetype plugin, I can just sit there and play, and then I forget that I should be doing something in the moment because I've been playing guitar for like an hour then. And as far as usability goes, I love that you can change the mic position and blend the mics, and I love that they have a standalone program, which brings me to the one thing about this plugin that I do not like, or one feature that I really, really wish was there. That's that the Archetype does not have a tuner built in. Well, I guess actually none of the Neural DSP stuff has a tuner built in, which is really weird to me because they offer a standalone program for this. So you don't have to open a DAW. You can just open up a program and jam, which is what I normally end up doing with this, which is what I was doing with THU. And it's really kind of inconvenient to not have a tuner there. Either you have to unplug your guitar and use a tuner, you can use your phone, which isn't the most accurate thing in the world, or I can just start up THU real quick and tune it there. But it would just make it so much easier if there was a tuner built into the program. So that's something I would really like to see in the future. That would make it 100% perfect. This is the one thing I see as a downside to the Archetype. Not that I would tell you to not buy this because there's not a tuner, because that's just ridiculous, but I think if they added that, it would make it literally perfect. The only other issue I noticed, I'm not gonna call it a downside because it's something that can be fixed. I had some weird CPU issues when using this. I only ran 4 guitar tracks in this session and I was getting dropouts. And yes, I was running at 16 samples, which I normally don't have an issue with. I have a very fast computer. I normally don't have an issue, but I was getting dropouts, so I think, okay, let me bump it up to 128, and I'm still getting dropouts. And I disable the tracks, and the dropouts go away. So that was a little weird to me. But of course, software and bugs like that is always something that can be ironed out, so I'm really not tripping. At the end of the day, this plugin is killer, and of course I would expect nothing less from Nolly. Like, everything that dude touches is absolute gold, and this does not disappoint. But of course, Neural DSP has a 14-day trial on all their products, so don't take my word for it. Go download it, go try it out. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find something that you'll like. On that note, don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell, do all that YouTube stuff so you get notified when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. My name is David, and I will see you guys next time.